Let's go to Abuja. We're talking about economy there now, Markwe.
Well, yes, we're done worrying about arms and ammunition finding their way into the country. Another cause for concern, or perhaps not, is the economy. And I'm being joined now by Mr. Pascal Odibo, who is a financial and business consultant. It's good to see you in Abuja.
Thank you. Good to see you too, Markwe.
Great. Now, are you worried? We've seen, quite a number of things happen this week. First of all, we saw that the CBN met, the CBN Monetary Policy Committee met. They retained the MPR at 14%, which is what people always look forward to seeing after they've read the long statement. Then, secondly, we also saw the NBS, the Nigeria Bureau of Statistics, release data that showed that we were not quite out of a recession. GDP growth rate was still in the negative. 0.52% was what we noticed for the fifth consecutive quarter. What are your thoughts? Are you optimistic about what the future holds?
Thank you once again. Well, for every person, the future should hold better things than the past, and that's the fulcrum upon which life is lived. Having said that, I think it is getting clearer to all that more work has to be done, and it is not just a mantra that delivers. It has to do with the hard work that is required to be able to move the economy away from the ditches. Of course, remember, the announcements were made, before. I remember the last Nigerian Economic Summit. The glory picture was painted that if we did make the mistake of getting into this ditch, it would take a lot of time to get out of it, because you're going below and beyond ground zero. You need to now come up to ground zero before you begin to talk about growth. And I think a lot of people were just, it didn't dawn on a lot of people. It's beginning to be clear. I remember I had a sister-in-law who came in and said, "You guys don't know what you're getting yourselves into. When you get into a recession, it is not a walk in the park." However, I think that with the acting president, marshalling our points that border on ease of doing business, on local content, and on budget, a timelessness of delivery of budget, it begins to sound as though we can see the cloud gather like the arm of a man in the heavens. I keep saying. So things will improve. You're already at the bottom. There is no other place to go than to go up. But I keep saying that strategy is not what you do in the morning. This is the time to begin to apply ourselves and get the right people to ensure that we can get out of this tunnel.
Well, looking at some of the actions that have also been taken, just last week, the acting president signed 3 executive orders, all of them around the ease of doing business. And just yesterday, he met with middle-level civil servants who are to implement the policy. And he told them that they should not just take this as government policy, but also as personal policy. How vital do you think the role of civil servants are or is in getting us out of this recession?
Let me first of all thank the active vice president. They are now stepping up the plate. These are the things you do in the first 100 days. The things that bothered you, things that are your concern, the very architecture and pillars upon which your administration will drive development and growth. Listen, after God, the next thing is government. And they go by rules. That's why you have the Bible, you have the Quran. So these are orders of government. This sets the tone. This is how we will operate. This is what we're going to bring to bear. The next thing, of course, they will also want, because that takes time, are acts of parliament. They will now go to the National Assembly and then bring laws that will assist them to codify, as it were, what they want to do. Now, so that we have it now, thank God it's on. Now, the devil is in the detail, and I think that's why he's talking to the civil servants. They need to retrain the civil servants. It has to be a deliberate act. And it's not because the civil servants cannot do it, but they serve as the vehicle upon which government policies and agenda will have to be delivered. So I think very strongly that he has spoken to the right community. I've always said it this way. anything you do that does not have an incentive, whether it's a negative or a positive incentive, people never do what you don't, that doesn't get measured. That's one of the rules in management. So I think he's beginning to bring his sagacity, into governance. And I hope we'll see more of this. I'm hoping we're going to see more of this. So the civil servants need to now, wake up and smell the coffee. That this is not, that's why there's going to be what they call a monitoring room, where they will going to make sure that these things are followed through. Because the work I do is consulting and international training. I fly in a lot of faculties that come to do training for us in Nigeria. But you'll be shocked if I send you the reports I get on their living and coming in to Nigeria.
Give us an insight. I'm interested.
You're interested, right? They're not quite palatable. They're not. They're not, absolutely not palatable. These are things that every time you're struggling to convince them that, this is still a good place, things are working. Sometimes they don't just want to come.
But given what you know, which I would still insist that you share some with us, do you think that there is a way out?
Oh, yes, there's a way out. If you bring competent and credible people in governance and government, this will turn around. Humans have the record to turn around circumstances. Nigeria is not the first country that went into recession. However, you do not get out of the ditch by stupidity and foolishness, by ethnicity and by religion. The acting vice president said so. Acting president said so. As much that it's not by prayer and fasting. It's good, but after you finish praying, after you finish fasting, you will not need to hit the trenches. So you don't get people that are not competent and put them in charge of things.
So tell us some of
the
insights that you have then, in terms of where you think the problem sometimes lies, and.
Okay, let me give you an instance. I'm not going to tell you what. I mean, that's crazy. I go to Ghana. I do a lot of work in Ghana because it's for the banks that I do training there for. If you see their airport that they refurbished, it's small, but working, everything working. They're building another terminal that will be ready by the end of this year. And you will see the quality of work. I mean the quality of work that these guys are, they are interested in bringing service to their people. Now, I can bet you that since the minister that initiated all the multiple airport refurbishment that we notice in the country, I doubt if there have been any major thing that has gone on to the airports. It's not coordinated, it's not strategic, it does not look as though anybody understands that all these things all key in to cause you to become competitive as a nation. That's what is called competitive strategy and competitive advantage. You use competitive strategy to gain